This conference will now be recorded.
Okay, in previous class we have discussed types of testings, and we have completed functional testing classification and also non-functional testing classification. As I mentioned, there are some other types of testings as well, which are not defined under that classification, but we will use in the day-to-day uh, testing activities. Okay, so the other types of testings. So for the other batch, I have explained couple of types of testing. Others able to hear me? All of you?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, it's something wrong from your end. Please check if you are not able to hear me. All of you. Other types of. Are you able to hear me? Ramesh, Ramya?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
You can hear you,
Yes, sir.
sir.
You're audible.
Okay. Other types of testing. I'll just repeat to the other batch people which I have already explained to you. Just bear with me for some time. Other types of testing. So we have sanity testing, or you can tell static testing and dynamic testing. Okay, static testing and dynamic testing. So what does it mean? Static means this is all, these two things are asked together. Okay, it's not a type of testing, something we use these words. I am doing static testing, I am doing dynamic testing, like that we may not use. Okay, so but these are classified as some activities as part of our testing. Whatever we do, some are classified as static testing activities, and remaining all are classified as dynamic testing activities. So I will explain the definition, and then please let me know what are the activities as a tester you do will be categorized as static testing activities. Okay, the testing activities that are performed by without executing the code. Executing the code. What does that mean? Without executing the code, as a tester we will not execute the code, we will not touch the code. But what does it mean? When you are running the application, code will be running behind, right? Code will be executing behind. That's the meaning. That means without accessing the application, without accessing or navigating through the application. Okay, are considered as static testing activities. What are those things? Can you tell? What are the activities you do without accessing the application as a tester? Tell me, what are the testing activities you do without accessing the application? Come to the from the demo class or from the first class. Please recap those topics and tell me what are those activities you do. Okay, so before even that, what you will be doing, but to understand the requirement, uh, you will be attending one meeting. What is that meeting? Before even you receive the requirements and you go through the requirements, you will be attending something. What is that meeting is called? If you don't remember the meeting name also, who conducts that meeting? What is that for?
Sir, technical
Client
analysis.
conducts the meeting for with the BA and the software developers.
No. Client will not conduct. Business analyst, S. Lokesh. So BA will be
Sir,
conducting a meeting. Yes,
technical
go on.
analysis, sir. Technical analysis.
No. You will not be doing technical analysis. No, as a tester. Why will you do
Walkthrough.
technical analysis? Yeah, that is the right word. Someone said walk through. Okay, walk through is the right word. The meeting, which is, so client, as you people said, client has explained the requirement to business analyst, not for the developers, not for the testers. Okay, so once client explain the requirements to business analyst will go through the content what he has collected from customers, and he document all the required points in a structured way. Okay, in a requirement document. So those documents, and then he will interact with the UI or UX designers and get the rough mark screens as well. And then he conducts a meeting with the developers and testers to explain the requirement in detail to the team. Okay, by showing those mark screens, he will try to explain the new requirement, what is the customer expectation, how we should develop it, how it should look, everything he will explain in that meeting. That is nothing but walkthrough. Okay, so this is a one thing. After that, what you do, you will do analysis on this requirement. Once the BA explain and share those requirements to developers and testers, as a tester, you developer, what he will do, he will analysis, and then he start writing the code. We are not talking about developers now, we are testers here. So once you get the requirements, what you do, you analyze the requirements. So that is nothing but static analysis. What you do after that, what you do after analyzing,
Develop the test cases.
you will write the test cases. Yeah, you write the test cases. That's correct, Fayaz. You'll write the test cases. After writing the test cases, what you will be doing, how you will get confirmation, what I said, you need to send those test cases to someone to get them reviewed and get approval. Who is that? Business analyst again. Okay, not developer. Nowhere developer is involved in our testing activities. Okay, so we will be sending those test cases
Product
to
owner.
business analyst. Product owner is a term you will use in agile model, but in general we can say them business analyst. To the business analyst you will send those test cases, and he will review based on the requirement, what for which requirement you have written the test cases. He will review the test cases. If at all you have mentioned expectations correctly in the test cases, he will approve those test cases. And if you miss any additional test cases, you analyzed only less and you did not cover all the cases for that requirement, if he finds that, then he will give comments to you. So I think you have written test cases, whatever you have written are fine, but you also need to cover these are all cases. So please write separate test cases for these cases as well, these scenarios as well. Like that he may give comment. Okay, so what are that process is called review. Okay, before even sending to the business analyst, as per the standards, as a tester, what test cases you have written must be reviewed by another tester. Those are called peer reviews, we call. Okay, so among your team members you will be getting the test cases reviewed. So one test cases one tester's test cases will be reviewed by another tester, that another tester's test cases will be reviewed by some other tester. Like that, the reviews will be happening. After that review, it will be formally sent to, so that is what it is happening in within the team, no, that is informal review. And then more formally you are sending to the business analyst for their review, that is formal review. Okay, and after that, sometimes you may need to send those test cases for very formal review than the formal review to the business people. Okay, to the business people. Once he reviews and once business analyst reviews and give his comment, and once you address all the comments given by the business analyst, all the review test cases you will be sending to the business people as well, because client as well sometimes. That is inspection. Okay, it is a very formal review than the formal review, which happens in the presence of customer. Okay, clear with these things? These are the activities you do by the time developer completes the development of a requirement and give it to you to the testing environment for test execution. Okay, you should be ready with all these things done, and then ready with your approved test cases. Then you can use those test cases and run those test cases and validate the application fee. That newly developed feature is working as per the expectation mentioned in the test cases or not. So once you write the test cases and get them reviewed and approved, you will not refer back the requirement document. Why? You will not refer your test requirement to execute the to test validate the application. That newly developed feature, if you need to validate, then you follow your test cases only. You will not follow the requirement again. Why we are doing that? Because whatever the expectation is mentioned in the requirement is already captured in your test cases, various scenarios. So if you have covered all the things in the test cases, then why to refer back the requirement again? That's the reason you are writing the test cases. So once you write the test cases and get them reviewed and approved, your reference point will be your test cases. When you will go back to the requirement, if someone points your test case, or if you raise a defect and it is not accepted by the developer, then you will cross verify with your requirement document why developer is saying like this. So let me check the requirement and explain to him. See, this is the line in the requirement, also it is clearly stated this is how it should work. Like that, you may refer to the requirement document when such conflicts occur. Otherwise, your reference point is only test cases at the time. Understand? So these are all the activities you'll be doing without accessing the application. Okay. In any of these cases, do you need application?
No, sir.
No.
Okay. So now I wanted to tell some roles here before moving on to the next topic. Who will do walkthrough? It's not, I just give an example. Walkthrough is a word which we generally use for a meeting conducted by business analyst to explain the requirements, explain the content of a document. I said, right? So it is a general word, generic word. It's not for only that BA conducts a meeting. Whoever conducts a meeting and explain the content what he or she has written to explain to the team members whatever meeting is conducted is called as walkthrough. As a developer also may conduct a walkthrough meeting. What is that walkthrough? Code walkthrough. Whatever code, beautiful code what he has written, he wants to explain to the juniors or any newcomers. He needs to explain the code, then he will conduct code walkthrough sessions and go through the code and explain the different parts of the code to make sure other developers understand his code. Okay, that kind of that he is the author of the code, right? What do you say? He's the author of the code. So like that, walkthrough will be conducted by, it will be conducted by author of a document. Two, it is a meeting which will be conducted by author of a document to explain the content to the team members or others. Okay, example, BA conducts a walkthrough session to explain the requirements and designs to the team members. Okay, so who will do walkthrough? The role who is performing the walkthrough, the role is called author. You need to remember this. Okay, the roles. Who is doing reviews? That person is called as reviewer. Okay, that reviewer, whoever it can be, internal in the informal review, it can be your peer tester. Okay, or in the formal review, it can be your business analyst or SMEs, subject matter experts. In the inspection, it will be done by inspector. That role is inspector. Who is doing review is called as reviewer. Who is doing inspection is called as inspector. These are the roles. Okay, the roles performing these activities which are performing these static activities are author, reviewer, and inspector. Okay, inspector involves in inspection, reviewer involved in review process, and author will be involving in the walkthrough process. Is this clear, everyone?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So this is a new topic for both the batches. I did not explain to any of you. Okay, so now this is the thing which you were able to explain, few of them. Okay, that's great. Now I will copy this statement. I'll put the similar statement for dynamic testing as well. The testing activities, reverse statement I'm talking, the testing activities that are performed by executing the code, that means by accessing and navigating through the application screens to validate the features are considered as dynamic testing activities. Yeah, can you tell now what are those activities, dynamic testing activities? The activities you are going to do by accessing the application, some of the testing activities you'll be doing by accessing the application and validating the, to validate the features, you need to access the application, right? So what are those different testings you will be doing that there? All those Sorry, go on. Okay. Yeah. So unit testing, integration testing, regression testing, smoke testing. This I did not explain regression testing, smoke testing to go-to-meeting people. Okay, I'll explain in a while. Okay, so the testing activities that are performed by executing the code, that means by accessing the application and navigating through the screen to validate various features developed by the developer. You do all those things as part of your formal test execution activities. All the formal test execution activities are considered as dynamic testing activities. What are those things? Example, unit testing, integration testing, system testing, regression testing, smoke testing. I'm not listing all the things. Okay, I listed here only for functional, but to do the non-functional things also, what are what are those non-functional things? Like performance testing.
security, usability.
Yeah, all those things also, usability testing, etc. I'm not listing everything here. There are many types of testings like that. So all those test execution activities, the different types of testings, whatever you are doing by accessing the application to validate the application features, all those are considered as dynamic testing activities. Is it clear for everyone? So
Yes, sir.
that's why we don't use these terms in real time. I am doing static testing, I am doing dynamic testing, these kind of words we will not use, but it's a classification. This is how it has been done. Okay, so this, what are all dynamic testing activities, how the designing will be done, this, remember this, when we come to the topic of test design techniques, we will be recapping this static testing, and as part of dynamic testing you will be having some other techniques as well. We will learn as part of test design techniques. Okay, okay, this is clear. Moving on to the next type, you will be doing risk-based testing. Okay, risk-based testing, the word itself is telling risk-based. What does it mean? When you may do this risk-based testing, based on the risk you will be testing. Okay, what is that risk-based testing? What are those risks are when you go for this type of testing? Any guesses from anyone? Okay, no problem, I'll explain. So here now, your developer are expected to deliver some requirements development by tomorrow. Okay, and then as a testing team you need to test and complete the full validation by another 2 days. Tomorrow the developer has to complete the development. Let me open the calendar. And by another 2 days, 7th and 8th, you need to complete the testing. Okay, so take it like this. You need to, a developer completes the development by today, and you need to test all those requirements in the next 3 days, and you need to perform the regression testing as well, and then on the existing features, and then you need to do release to the UAT environment officially on 11th. That is the timelines. Okay, but what happened, developer got delayed in delivering the requirements, in developing the requirements to testing team. He is going to deliver half of them tomorrow and half of them in the first half of 7th. Okay, then what you need to do, can you ask customer, please move the release date and we will release it on 14th or 13th, like that? Will you take permission from the customer? No. If you ask like that, it will be, we will be losing the trust from the customer. Okay, so we are not supposed to do like that. Okay, then what should we do? Then we go for risk-based testing. So while you are analyzing the requirements and coming up with the test plan initially, while if you are planning the testing activities, you could have identified the risks already. Okay, or if you have not done that also, now at this situation you will be asking your you will be discussing within yourself as a testing team. Your lead will conduct a meeting and test manager also will be there in that, if at all you have dedicated testing manager. Then you all together discuss, okay, we are at risk now, we don't have enough time to validate all those requirements. So what we do, we go for risk-based testing. Yeah, in India sometimes, okay, we may, what we do, anyone, any guesses? Since the release is on 11th, it requirements are getting on 7th, your managers may ask for what? Any guesses? I'm not
Extend
talking
the
about
working
that
time.
case. Extend the working time and also work on weekends. Okay, because we don't have time, like that they may ask. Okay, that I'm not talking about that case, understand? So consider only the weekdays. You have 1.5 day or 2 days max to max. I'm talking about that. So these 2 days, how much ever testing you can do, that you need to cover. How? How much ever means you will go in a normal flow. If you have done only half of the testing in that 2 days, you will stop your testing there and you do the release. No, nothing. It should not be done like that, right? So what should be done in that case? So you need to identify risky areas of the application, risky requirements in that specific cycle, which are very important to the business and which are risky areas. Those things you need to identify and test, at least try to test and complete the validation for that specific identified risks, risky areas. And then what you do, release it to the customer, saying that, mentioning it clearly in the release notes. Since we had very less time, we are doing risk-based testing. Okay, Subhashni, are you not able to hear me? Okay, okay, okay. So you need to clearly state that in the release notes as well, while doing such type of release without doing proper full testing. Then you need to mention in the requirement in the release notes, we have done risk-based testing, we covered only these requirements and these portions, these parts of these requirements, and my test due to lack of sufficient time, and my testing team is still continuing their testing on the remaining areas. If they find any issues, we will fix them and do the immediate another release, subsequent release in a day. Okay, we request you to initially test only these areas and we confirm you on the remaining areas in a while or in a day. So like that you will be requesting the customer. Okay, informing to the customer clearly. We do on time release, but we ask customer to not to test the other areas which you have not covered. Okay, Sometimes some companies, what they do, some project managers, anyhow the other areas are not that risky and that important, we don't tell anything, we do our testing, and if at all we find any issues and we fix it, then we may do some hot fix release. We use that word hot fix, means immediately we do the release with this kind of issues. When you identify that should be there in UAT immediately, then we do hot fix. Okay, hot fix release. It can be done when customer identifies some important issue also. It will be fixed immediately and released to the UAT as an hot fix release. Okay, which will be addressed very, very soon on priority. That kind of releases are called hot fix, but we will not need not to concentrate on that now. So you do risk-based testing like that. Okay, and then your testing team will continue on the testing of the remaining areas, and then complete your testing and inform to the business officially. If you did not find any issues, you will inform to the business, we are done with our risk-based testing. We are other areas of testing as well, and we did not find any issues, and all are working as per the expectation. You can also start testing all the features. Like that, you will inform to the business. Okay, understood this concept what I mentioned when you go for risk-based testing? Okay, as per in this testing, team will validate the risky areas. Risky areas are important functionalities, important requirements, first, and then go for the remaining functionalities validation based on the time availability before doing the release to the next, to the business people. Okay, before doing the release of the application to the business people. So it will be happening this testing will be mostly done when there is no, this is a testing which will be mostly done when there is sufficient time for the testing team to validate all the newly developed requirements, features, requirements. In this situation, at this situation, team will validate identify the risky areas and test only those things first, and then go for the functionalities. Okay, this is called risk-based testing. Any question on this? No? Okay, moving on to the another testing type, experience-based testing. Experience-based testing. Name is very, very clear, and you are able to understand, I hope, what is it is talking about experience based testing. Can anyone guess what is it telling? Tell me, experience based testing. Whose experience? All
Tester
of you able
experience.
to hear me?
Tester experience.
From previous experience. Yes, yes, Kalyan. Yes, testers experience first. So based on the testers experience, previous experience in testing such kind of applications, whatever experience they have previously in their previous, using that knowledge, you will be testing here currently. Why do we need to do that? When there is very less documentation, or the project is running with very tight timelines, where new testers, hiring new testers and giving training to them to explain the domain and explain the application and all, it takes a lot of time. In that case, what they do, they hire experienced testers who has very good knowledge, prior knowledge on these such type of applications which are being developed in their project. Only such testers will be hired, and they will be asked to do experience based testing based on their whatever all the testings, integration or system testing, whatever you are doing, that will be done based on your experience. Okay, the test case identification also, this is one of the technique. Even test case identification also will be done based on their previous experience. How? Okay, when I was testing, now you are testing Paytm e-commerce application, but you are part of, you in your previous experience, you are part of Flipkart application, Flipkart company you were working. You had very good experience in testing that Flipkart application, e-commerce application only, right? That is also, now you are selected in this Paytm project in the same company or another company. Now what you will do, when I was testing, when I was adding more than 50 items, it was items to the cart, it was not allowing me to proceed. Let me check that case here. When I'm trying to add same item more than 5 times, it was throwing error there. Let me check that case here. When I was doing uh, payment, and when I come back, it was clearing my cart without completing the transaction. I came back, I canceled the transaction and came back to previous page. It was clearing my cart. Let me check that scenario here. Like that, based on your previous experience, you guess the scenarios and right identify them, or you will be guessing the issues. That's just now I mentioned, guessing the issues what you face. Those things will be identified, and you'll be doing, you'll be testing those things in the current application which you are testing. Okay, so what are those things? So here in this, testers will test the application based on by using the knowledge, using their knowledge, the previous application, knowledge their knowledge in testing such applications in their previous experience. Okay, what does that mean? How it will be done? There are two types in this experience based testing as well. One is exploratory testing, and another one is, what is another one? Just now I mentioned, right, you will be guessing the errors what you faced in the previous, that is called error guessing. Okay, so exploratory testing and error guessing are the two types in this experience based testing. Exploratory testing means here the experienced testers, the testers who has prior experience in testing such applications will go through the application screens and go through the screens and explore the functionalities, explore the requirements or features, and then explore the application and explore the features, and then the validate whether they are working as per the expectation or not, using their previous knowledge. Okay, previous knowledge. Okay, previous knowledge, whatever they have, or their knowledge in testing, their knowledge in testing such applications. Anyhow, I have written already here. So in there, using their knowledge. Okay, using their prior experience, I can say, instead of telling that previous experience. Okay, they will validate this type of testing. Whoever, without having any procedure or any test cases, directly running accessing the application, and you will not be going in this exploratory testing, you will not be going test cases by test cases. Okay, because you are exploring the application now, it is based on experience, you are previous experience, you are going to test it. You will not be testing test cases by test cases, it will be done functionality by functionality. Okay, how it will be done? So for exploratory testing, you will either, while exploring, you may write test cases, or there will be kind of mind maps. Okay, mind maps is a concept where you will be covering only the cases instead of writing the steps and all. You will be writing for feature based testing. It is, you will be writing different cases which you have tested earlier in this kind of functionalities. You will list out all those cases blindly, instead of writing the steps. Why steps? You don't know, right? This is a new application, which steps you need to follow, you don't know. Okay, that's why based on your previous experience, whatever cases you have covered for such type of features, you will be writing cases only for each feature, and then you directly validate them based on your previous knowledge. Okay, that is a exploratory testing. It may or may not be there in your uh, day-to-day project, in any project which you may join, but this is the actual explanation. But they maybe ask you to still, even though they are not going to do exploratory testing or error guessing and all, still they hire some experienced people who are having previous experience. Why? Because what? For what? They team projects may go for this type of testing when there is very less documentation less documentation about the application features, or when there is very limited time to go for live to go live. Okay, when they want to go live, the timelines and all tight schedules, I can say. Okay, so in these situations they will go for experience based testing. Go live means it's not about releasing to the UAT. I'm talking about releasing. Business might have planned the go live dates and all when they want to use that application directly in their business. So based on the dates, if you have very limited time to develop and test all those things, then you need to hire to at least testing process we need to improve. And anyhow you will hire more developers to complete that within the time. That is different case. But when we are talking about testing point of view, the experienced testers you will hire then, so that they can speed up the testing activities quickly. They take very less time to ramp up in the project. Okay, what is error guessing? The experience based testers, it is also a test design technique. Even exploratory testing is also test design technique only. Okay, while exploring you will identify the cases and write the test cases. Okay, so different scenarios you will identify while exploring based on their previous knowledge, then they figure out the test cases. But error guessing also similar thing, based on the defects or issues whatever they identified in their previous experience in the previous application, they try to guess such errors here also and write the test cases. It is also a test design technique where the experienced testers guess the errors in the application based on their previous experience in testing while testing such applications. Okay, this is another activity. See, in Dhanalakshmi, in the risk based testing, less time or that is for to do the UAT release. Here I am talking about entire project life cycle time. You need to close the project, right? Within the time you agreed with the client, in 2 years we will complete the full project development, and on after 2 years on so and so date I want to use my application in the production, I want to go live. Okay, based on that, I'm not talking about timelines only the aspect here. It is experience based testing, is this is also one of the aspect. But here what point I mentioned in the risk based testing is to do the every cycle UAT release will be there, right? After every end of the cycle, end of the sprint or end of the iteration, based on the model whatever you are following, to do that release on time, then you go for risk based testing, not for go live. You cannot go live by doing risk based testing. Okay,
Okay,
will
okay,
you
sir.
take risk in the production? No, right?
Okay.
To go to the production, you will never do risk based testing. Okay,
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
this experience based testing, so all of you know.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So I I request Zoom meeting people to I'll be repeating that smoke testing, sanity testing to the GoToMeeting people. This part I did not explain to them, so I'll be covering those things. If you want to continue, you can continue. Otherwise, that's all for today. Okay, for you people. We'll continue with the next other types of testings tomorrow. Okay,
Okay, sir.
Subhashni, others. Yes, Sumant, tell me. Yes, yes, for you only. Yes, Sumant. Okay. Yeah, I will share those things again. Okay, we will. I think they did not try. I think it will be the same for everyone. We will. Yeah, I will share it again. Okay, all of you. Okay, I'll share it again. Okay, fine. We will see. We'll talk later on that. Yeah. So yeah, welcome. If you want to disconnect, you can disconnect, all of you. I will continue with those repeated concepts to you. Smoke testing. Yes, yes, you can continue if you want. Smoke and sanity testing. Okay, these are the two things. Smoke testing, sanity testing, which will be asked together. Okay, so what is smoke testing? Now, this is a type of testing which is taken from electrical field. Okay, electrical field means any manufacturing company will be there, right? When they manufacture some electrical goods, electrical devices, they do first, once the device is manufactured, first they do smoke testing before even start validating the features of that device. They first do smoke testing. What does it mean? Electrical device means it should be connected to the power, right? So when it is being connected to the power, electricity, is it producing any smoke? What happens if the wiring is not done properly, or binding is not done properly, or some uh, manufacturing is not done, not about the quality of the material I'm talking about. If the configuration wiring itself is not done properly, what it will do, as soon as you connect to the power, it will produce smoke. First, forget about that one, not even that. First, small bulb, you take that bulb only, LED bulb or normal bulb. When you go to a shop, and if you ask what he will do, he will put into the plug, and then he will check first whether it is working or not. That is not smoke testing. Okay, but he is also doing one smoke testing for you. But before even reaching that shop, the bulb reaches to the shop, that manufacturing company, whether it is a Wipro or it can be Philips or whatever bulb manufacturing company, there will be quality controlling team. What they do before even they pack it, they connect it to the uh, they check whether it is producing any. If it is not manufactured properly, it will burn, it will produce smoke. Correct? Have you ever seen? So that is one best example for the smoke testing, which electrical manufacturing companies will be doing. But why we are discussing now here, that word is used for here
Hello,
software
sir.
testing as well. Okay.
Hello, sir.
Yes,
Sir, this is Ramya.
yes, Ramya.
Can you please repeat smoke testing? Your voice is not audible to me.
Yes, sir. Sometimes your voice is
I'm
breaking.
explaining that only. I'm not done, Ramya. Please. Okay. I'm
Okay.
still
Can
going
you
through.
start from initial point
Okay.
smoke testing?
Yeah.
That means.
I don't know. Some of people are telling it's clear. Some people are telling it is clear, but I'm not sure whose network it is. Okay, but please make sure you are having proper network connection. Okay, all of you. It's difficult to repeat whenever you lose the internet connection. Okay. Smoke testing, what I was telling, this is the type of testing which usually used in the electrical manufacturing companies, any electrical device manufacturing companies, to make sure as soon as one product is manufactured, first they connect to the electricity and then make sure is it wiring is done properly or not, is it producing any smoke. If wiring is not done properly, it will get fire and it will produce some smoke. Okay, that is happening or what, that is the first testing they do. The testing is called smoke testing they do. Okay, but in coming to the software testing, why we are using there, as I said, new product is manufactured, then they go for smoke testing first. This I said, right? In the same way, whenever a new requirement is developed and given to the testing environment for validation, as a tester you do first smoke testing. For what? As I given just now example, before for that electrical product only, before they start validating the features of that product, whether they are working properly or not, first testing they are doing smoke testing, whether it is produced, it is manufactured correctly or not. First it is wiring is done properly or not, it is producing any smoke. If it is producing smoke, you will not proceed with the further testing of that product. You will throw that product, it is quality failed. You will tell to the manufacturer, you will tell it's quality control quality failed because it is producing smoke, and then you will not do any further testing on that product. Okay, in the similar way, keep that point in mind. Now whenever a new requirement is developed by developer and move it to the testing environment for validation, before you do actual detailed validation on that new features, first you will do a quick test on that, whether this feature is deployed properly or not, whether it is in a good condition to proceed with your testing or not. You will check one case or two cases quickly for 2 minutes or 3 minutes or 5 minutes. You will test quickly that new feature. Once you get confidence, yes, it is developed properly and it can be tested, once you get that confidence, then you will go with your actual test case execution. Whatever you have done, test case writing you have done, right, for that requirement, you will go with that detailed test execution as part of your as usual integration testing, what you do. Okay, understood? Whenever a new build is deployed to testing environment, whenever a new requirements a new build is deployed to the QA environment with the new features, testing team need to do a very quick check on those new features to make sure whether those new features are in a testable condition or not. Understood this statement, all of you? Understood this explanation or not?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Got the thing. Got the
Okay,
point.
moving on to the next one. Sanity testing. Okay, thanks for confirming. Sanity testing, what is this one? So once you confirm, then I'm not talking about your usual integration testing you will do, right, running all your test cases. So before you are going with the detailed, instead of directly jumping into the actual detailed test case execution on those new features, first you need to make sure whether that new feature came to QA environment or not. If it is deployed, it is in a good shape or not to test it. You found that as soon as now one registration functionality is deployed to QA environment, registration functionality. You are not able to save. Okay, you are not able to save the record. What kind of testing you will do to validate your all your test cases? It's waste of your time, right? If you are not able to save, you need to fail. If you run with all your test cases one by one, you will need to fail all your test cases and need to raise a lot of defects. It's waste of your time. So to save that time and before even getting into detailed test case validation, you do that specific case, you directly do one. I'm able to save a registration process means first case is what? Filling all the details and click on save, it is registering or not. That case you will check if it is happening. Okay, then you will get confidence. Yes, it is developed fine. Okay, I can go with my test case execution. Knowing that it is not working, then getting into detailed test case execution is waste of your time. Okay, so that's why to do before even getting into detailed test case execution, you do a quick test on that new features, whether they are released, they have deployed to QA environment properly, and they are in a working condition or good condition to proceed with my detailed test execution or not. I'll confirm with by doing 1 or 2 scenarios testing first. Okay, and then I'll go for my detailed test case execution later on. Okay, before even you go on to the detailed test case execution with those new features, after completing the smoke testing and once you confirm yourself whether that newly developed features are in testable condition or not, you will check. After that, you will do sanity testing. Means once you are done with this smoke testing, you will go for sanity testing. What is that? You will be doing whenever, this is also whenever a new build is deployed to the testing environment, whenever a new build is deployed to the testing environment or QA environment, why new build will be given? Either it is due to new features or with the some bug fixes. Whenever developer fix some bug or when they develop new feature, then they give the new build, right? So when new new build to the QA environment with either with new features or with some bug fixes, tester needs to do a quick round of testing, quick round of high level happy flow testing, for all the existing features of the application, okay. Why do you need to do this one? Anyone from here? Why do you need to do this? When a new build is deployed, you need to do a very quick round of testing on all the existing features, and that too happy flows. Happy flows means what? Only create, update successful cases, not the error case, not the business rules and all. You will be validating only happy flows. I'm able to successfully save, I'm able to successfully delete, I'm able to successfully update or not. These kind of straightforward cases you will be quickly checking in the sanity testing for all the existing functionalities. You will not be the only tester, right? If application is developed, it is now vast and there are a lot of existing features, then what your testing team will do, you will split the modules among yourself and will be doing only for the allocated module sanity testing. Other testers will do on their modules. So like that, whenever a new build is deployed, testing team need to do a quick round of testing on the existing features to make sure what features of the application, to make sure the build is deployed properly and nothing is broken. Okay, nothing is broken. Sometimes when they are deploying one of the code file, they may miss, or some functionality when they are developing new feature, they may break the existing feature. To make sure that they are quickly doing quick round of testing. Okay, on the existing features, they are going to use the test cases only. Which test cases? Are you going to write separate test cases for sanity testing? No. When you are writing test cases for this new requirement, at that time you are validating, right? When the existing requirement is already developed, right? When you were testing for the first time for those requirements, you could have written some test cases, correct? In those test cases only, you will identify some of them as sanity testing cases. The test cases which are covering the happy flow for that requirement, you will copy them to the sanity testing folder. In the tool, you will be maintaining a folder which is called as test suite, which is having collection of test cases. For sanity testing, one folder; for regression testing, one folder. Like that you will be keeping. So whatever test cases you write for a requirement for the first time, in those test cases only, your job is to identify which are categorized as sanity testing. Next time for this feature, when you repeat your testing next time onwards, which testing as part of sanity testing, which cases I can test, that you need to identify from your test cases and copy those test cases to sanity testing folder as well. And in the similar way, another thing is regression testing. You need to do the detailed test execution on all the existing features. Once you are done with this new feature validation for that specific cycle, you need to also do detailed execution on all the existing features to make sure all existing features also working as per the expectations along with these new features or not. You will cover as part of regression testing. Which test cases you will use? Again, whatever test cases you have written for that new requirement at that time, you will be identifying from those test cases some of them as regression test cases. Okay, sanity test cases, regression test cases are not written separately, or again you will be writing new test cases. No, whenever a new requirement is being developed, you are going to write the test cases, right? From those test cases only, you will make copy of those test cases. Some of the test cases you will identify them as sanity test cases, some of them will be identified as regression test cases. But regression testing is more than this happy flow testing. You will be covering this happy flows also in this regression testing, and also along with that, other business rules validations and deep level testing on the existing features will be done in this regression testing. Okay, when you do this regression testing, whenever code changes happen in the application, happens for the application, for what reason code change may happen? Due to bug fixes or for the new feature development, new feature enhancements, new feature enhancement, you will be changing the code, right? When the changes happen, it may have impact on the existing features. So to know that one enhancement, tester needs to, once those new features or though or the bugs are validated, tester needs to validate, needs to do a round of testing, deep testing on all the existing features of the application to make sure the code changes haven't shown any impact on the existing features, to make sure the code change haven't shown any impact on the existing features and they are still working as expected. You'll be confirming these things in the regression testing. When you do this regression testing, mostly this regression testing will be mostly done before doing release to the UAT environment. Understand? Before doing the release to the UAT environment. So how the test cases are identified? As I mentioned, so whatever test cases you have written for that new requirements in the initial days, from those test cases only you will be identifying some of them as sanity test cases, some of them as regression test cases. As I just mentioned, regression testing is a deep level testing where you will be using happy flows. Also you will be testing happy flows also, along with that some other business rule validations also will be done. So in that case, all the test cases identified for the sanity testing will be part of regression as well. So that's the reason. So the test cases, first you need to understand test suite. Test suite is collection of test cases. It's a folder kind of. Sanity test suite is a subset of sanity test suite is a subset of regression test suite. Why I am calling this one sanity test suite is a subset of regression test suite? Means whatever test cases you identified for test cases, sanity testing will be part of regression testing as well. Okay, that's why. Understand? All of you? Any questions from here? Pravalika, Pujita, Ramya, Ramesh, Srinu, Suresh, everyone. All clear? Okay, I hope it's clear. Test suite, just now I mentioned, test suite is collection of test cases. Test suite is a kind of folder. Test suite, collection of one or more test cases. Collection of one or more test cases. Say you will be creating a separate folder for in your tool for sanity testing. If you are performing, which test cases need to be executed. If you are doing regression testing, which test cases need to be executed. You'll create separate folders. Folder means don't think kind of our folder like this. It will be a test suite, we call it as. Test suite will be created. In that test suite you will copy the identified test cases under the respective test suite, either sanity test suite or regression test suite. You copy the test cases written for the return for the requirement. Clear, Kalyan? Is it clear, Kalyan?
Clear, sir.
Yeah. Any questions from anyone? So there is another thing as well, retesting. What is retesting? This is a word normally used for defects. So whenever a defect is fixed, okay, you need to, with this we'll stop for the day. Whenever a defect is fixed, okay, whenever a defect is fixed by the developer, tester needs to recheck that specific case is working as expected or not, is called as, you need to recheck that specific case. After providing this fix, it's working or not, you will be checking. This is called retesting or confirmation testing. We call this as confirmation testing. Okay, so why I'm explaining here, normally in interview it will be asked these two things together. Okay, what is difference between retesting and regression testing? Then you need to tell, whenever a bug is fixed by the developer, I need to, as a tester, I need to recheck that specific case is working after this fix or not. I'll be checking. If it is working, I'll close the defect. So once the defect is validated, because of this fix or because of this code change, is there any impact on the other related functionalities or not? I need to make sure that as well. So for that reason, I will do a quick round of testing on the related existing functionalities. This is called regression testing. Like that, you need to explain. Clear, all of you? It's an important interview
Yes,
question. And it is, what is smoke? What is difference between smoke and sanity? They will ask. Smoke is your main focus is on the, these two are done whenever a new build is deployed to the QA environment, but smoke is going to be focused on only the new features. A quick round of testing will do on new features before you get into the deep validation. Sanity testing is a quick round of test on the existing features. To do only happy flows will be tested to make sure deployment happened properly or not. Nothing is broken from the existing feature. You will be doing deployment is happened properly or not. To give that confirmation, you do sanity testing on the existing features. So smoke is on the new features, sanity is on existing features. Smoke will be done first. After that, you do sanity testing, and then you will get into your day-to-day integration testing for these new features. Understand, all of you?
Yes, sir.
yes.
Okay. So that's all for today. We will continue. There are some other types of testing as well. We will continue tomorrow. Okay.
Sir, hello.
Yes, Ramesh.
Sir, we need these notes, sir. What you
Didn't
are
you?
telling.
I have sent to institute. Didn't they send to you people?
No, sir. No, sir. I asked yesterday, but they have not yet sent, sir.
Yeah,
And
please call them and ask them to share it to you people. Okay.
okay,
Please call them.
okay,
Hello, Ramesh.
Institute people.
Call
thank
me,
you, sir.
contact number, office number is available. Please contact office number.
Okay,
Everyone
sir. Okay,
yesterday
sir.
get notes and recording sessions also. Okay, please contact office number.
Okay, sir.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Thank
Please
you.
talk
Thank
to
you.
them. They have sent it seems. Okay. Please check if you have not received. Okay. That's all for today. We'll continue other types of testings tomorrow as well. Thank you very much for joining. Speak
Thank
to you
you, sir.
tomorrow. Bye-bye.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Welcome. Bye-bye.